So thank you for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show. I'm Nikki Medoro, along with my daughter Marley. She's Kim McAllister, along with her daughter Julia. And this is a very special summer edition of the Nikki Medoro Show. As you guys know, my daughter, myself, my son, and husband are driving across country right now. So these are recorded shows, but we are 100% crowdfunded. So if you can click the thumbs up button, subscribe, and of course, all the ways that you support the show, Patreon, PayPal, Super Chat, Super Stickers. We always appreciate our listeners, even supporting us during the summer. So thank you guys so very much. But Kim, we've been wanting to do this type of show, and our viewers and listeners have been dying to get you guys back on. Since you guys were on together on KGO, right? I think that was the last time.
Yeah.
I dipped in before on this show, I feel like. But
yeah,
I think this is going to be the longest that they're going to get you on. These girls don't necessarily want to be here the whole entire show. So we're going to get them.
Back then, they were, God, how old were they? Was that 2-3 years ago when KGO fell apart?
Yeah.
Because it was pretty close to the end. And they were, what, 12 maybe?
Something like that. And they had no problem being on air.
We were much cooler.
Whatsoever.
Now they're 15 and 16 and they're they're too cool for us. Yeah,
exactly. But there were some topics that, but for people that don't know, when the show ends, Kim and I are like on here for like another half hour, just like catching up, telling stories. And one of the stories that Kim told me, I was like, we have to get the girls on. Yeah. And I want your take on this as well. And it's a story that at the end of the school year, and then this wasn't the recent year. This was what, last year?
This was last year. Yeah,
this was last year. Julia's band teacher wrote something in Julia's yearbook, and it was stirred on by kind of this news story about this track star who had put her shoes out with a fire extinguisher, and she had been kicked out of competition or whatever. We were kind of talking. I was making the comment, if that was a guy, that would have never happened. And so you told the story of something that happened with Julia. So the nuts and bolts of the story, please.
So I was mentioning that in last year's yearbook, which I have in front of me, one of Julia's band teachers, and I wanted to say that this man is amazing. He's a great teacher. He's inspirational. He's lovely. I really like the guy. But here's what he wrote, part of what he wrote in her yearbook. Compliment. Certainly these have been your strengths and gifts to those who you interact with. So he talks about her flame of ambition, fire of enthusiasm, vibrant sociability, that those have been strengths and gifts. Your potential is great, along with the budding musical talents you've been developing. I encourage you to make the most of it all. So yes, you're awesome, but don't go around undermining yourself. It repels others more than attracts them. In other words, careful the ego stuff, but you're all right. Gonna be solid anyhow. I just know it. Anyway, so that's what he says. So I don't know. I didn't find that as offensive as you found it.
So, okay. So just to let you know, Julia, when Cameron read this to me, I was instantly pissed. Like I just was beside myself. One, that it was written in your yearbook. Like I just was like, I don't know, but maybe I don't know the guy.
I did ask him because he's signed like all of my yearbooks so far. He's the kind of teacher where he I don't know, he signs like everyone's yearbook. So I asked him to like write something nice. So I think he kind of overdid it because I asked him to like write a lot. But that's just kind of like the story behind that is I was like, oh, can you like
okay, so I guess my first question to you, Julia, is when he wrote that, what was your initial reaction to the entire thing? Was it were you like, oh, that was a really nice message from my teacher in my yearbook?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember because that was like freshman year.
It was a whole yearbook.
Okay, so now rereading it with these eyes, rereading the whole thing. What's your initial?
Does it bother you that he said don't have an ego?
No, because it makes sense.
Do you think
because of my like role in band, it makes sense.
Do you think
why does it make sense?
Do you think he would have said that to a boy?
Probably.
Okay.
I think because I have like such a role in band.
What's your role?
I'm drum major, so I like lead the band.
Okay.
And I do take on like a lot of responsibility in band, and I play a lot of instruments, and I can pick them up faster than some people can. I think that like it's reasonable and I understand.
What's reasonable?
That he said that.
That he said that you have an ego about it?
That I shouldn't, or I should be careful.
Why?
Not to.
Why?
Because I know that I can.
See how my daughter knows. She's like,
Marla's a girl.
but she's like, no. This is okay, so this is just me. Okay, this is like, I would be beside myself if somebody wrote, and if Marley was like you, like musically inclined, band major leader, whatever. Okay. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You guys can let me know in the comments. And Juliet, please tell me if I'm completely off base here, obviously. But the reason why I'm so like, how dare he, is because in the way that your mom was describing what you do, you're a leader. You're good at what you do. You tell people when they're not stepping up or playing properly, because that is what your role is. And in my opinion, I disagree. If that was a guy, if that was the quarterback of the football team and was telling the players, you're not doing it hard enough, the coach would be like, there's a leader. But God forbid, in a different type of talent, a woman does the exact same thing, and all of a sudden she has to watch her ego. That's what pisses me off, right? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, like, what do you mean?
Like what I just said. Does that make sense? Did you? I mean, you understand what she was saying? The teacher was saying to Julia.
Yeah, I don't think it was that deep.
She never thinks that.
I think that there are times, like, I understand where he's coming from, because there are times where, like, I do like complain about how easy some of the music that we're playing is, like, in just class. So I think that that's what he was referencing, is how I was comparing it to some of the other music I play in like orchestra.
So maybe he didn't like your ego with him, not necessarily with the other students.
Yeah, maybe.
I think as a mom, what I wish for my children is to go out into the world with confidence and do the things they love with confidence, but also to be humble about it, to be good and humble. You don't have to be the a-hole that's bragging all the time, like, I'm so good, this is too easy for me, or whatever it is. Like, you don't have to be that annoying person. Maybe chill with the ego a little bit. So it didn't bother me that he wrote that, but boy, did it set you off.
It did, because, and again, I guess I understand the idea of not like rubbing it in people's faces. And I don't, and you know, maybe that's what the teacher was saying. Like, hey, Julia, as you go through life, you're very talented. Make sure as you progress, you bring other people up, you encourage them as well, that sort of thing, which I think is great. My point, you know, you don't see Steph Curry apologizing for making all the threes. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't make sure that everybody else is making threes too. He just does it because he's good at it. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying it comes easy to me. But like, I put the time in.
So he doesn't say it comes easy to him. He'll say, I practice, I've done it over and over and over again. And he's humble about it. He's not like, you know, he doesn't have a lot of, I don't want to say he doesn't have swagger, because he does on the court. But like in real life, you don't hear him go up to the microphone and say, you know, I'm the best, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm the best. You know what I mean? I'm the best there ever was. Right. He may well be the best there ever was, but you don't hear him saying that. He lets the work stand for itself.
I hear you. I don't know, Julia, just from me to you, I just wouldn't shirk down anything. I just would be like, you know what? You don't have to. You can have an ego. You put in the practice. You're damn good at what you do. And I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And maybe also it just was this idea of, you know, instead of telling you at the end of the year you kicked ass, there just had to be this extra little dig. And I just didn't like it. It was, in my opinion, it was completely unnecessary. I wish he could have just given you your gold star, because that's what you deserved, in my opinion. That's it. That's all I had to say.
So. That's nice.
I know. Okay, so that's for me to you. That's for me to you. All right. Okay. What was the other one? Okay. Now, for both of you, you guys are starting your junior years. Let me start with you, since we were talking about Julia.
We
were just talking about Julia. What are you most looking forward to and not looking forward to school-wise? this junior year? Do you feel a lot of pressure this junior year?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Why?
I'm in my calm era.
You're in your calm era?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Okay.
Not there at all?
Like about what?
Like about school and like doing well and or just, focusing. It's a big year for juniors.
I know. Like I'm ready.
I think Marley's being a bit shy on this show today for some reason. What about you, Julia?
What do you want? I'm ready.
Okay, so I mean, it's junior year because there's a lot of pressure going from sophomore to junior year. They have a lot of conversations. This is a big year for you.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's a lot of pressure on kids your age.
The year all the colleges pay attention to.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you feel the pressure? Do you think that it's the right amount of pressure? How do you balance it?
I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm enjoying my life.
Yeah, I agree with Marley on this one. I don't want to
I
think
guess it's not a
about
good
it.
question to ask like the first days of summer, though, right?
Yeah, in
Kim?
the
I
middle of
just-
summer. Yeah. What do you feel pressure going into junior year? What are your
yeah.
thoughts? Are you mentally preparing?
Yeah. I don't really feel pressure from anyone else but you, though.
Oh, that's so nice.
She was like, yeah.
Like, that's just
Uh,
the pressure I
So
feel.
just FYI, I'm the one who told her
That
whatever you do, don't register for AP Physics. And guess who registered for AP Physics?
That's not even what I'm worried about. People have told me that AP Physics is easier than chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I've
well,
heard that from so many
hey,
people.
if she wants to take it on, Mama, there she
I'm
goes.
scared
That's
for.
what I said.
I'm,
I said don't do it. So I wasn't applying the pressure.
I'm
Just
scared
saying.
of
Right.
history. That's what I'm scared of.
She's
Say
scared of
again?
I'm scared of
history.
taking a push.
AP US history.
AP US history. Any classes you're dreading? If you had to choose a subject, what subject do you dread the most?
Oh,
Well, you don't have to take Spanish anymore, right?
thank God.
Thank God we don't have to learn a language anymore. So there you go. But I mean, so junior year, are you feeling like high school, you're going to sit in your groove or anything? Are you excited for your junior year? Yeah, Julia? This one's not wanting
I
to
don't
You
say.
guys were a lot more fun when you were 12.
I know. I know. I feel like there's such, if you guys can go back, if anyone like listened to them before, there's such a change in how they are, isn't it? It's so interesting to watch.
It's total
them.
this teenager affect.
Yeah. It's like,
Uh-huh.
I'm
don't
sitting
mind.
right here.
Oh, sorry.
I know. Marley saying the same.
I didn't say anything.
Exactly.
Well, let's see if they have an opinion on this story. This
Okay.
is, you mentioned this a couple minutes ago, but this is a story
Oh, the track one?
about this a high school track star who
Right.
is amazing. Speaking of like mad skills, right?
Right.
And also not so humble.
Right. She wasn't humble.
She's at a high school on the Central Coast, and she won this state, I believe it's a state race. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a state championship or some sort of.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I mean, she was amazing. She is from North Salinas High School. Was a sophomore this year, like our girls, and she finished first in the 400-meter state championship final. And when she crossed the finish line, she went over to the stands, and her dad. So she's not up in the stands, but she's also off the track in that zone between the track and the stands, right? And her dad hands her a fire extinguisher so that she can, hose
Put
off
out her
her
feet 'cause she's on
shoes
fire.
that were on fire, right? Kind of like a brag, like I was
Right.
running so fast, my shoes are on fire. That did not go over well. Apparently, according to SF Gate, while it was a fun moment for her family, California Interscholastic Federation representatives didn't love it so much. They took away her state title, and they barred her from running in her next event, which was the 200-meter.
Yeah. Here we go. This is a little bit of the video off YouTube of it. Here we go. If the girls want to see it real quick. So here's the race. Okay. I think this is where she kind of goes to her dad. Here we go. That's her. So there's her big smile, right? Sorry, my computer is really, really slow. So obviously she looks really, really happy. And you can't even really even see it on video. So it was obviously planned. There's her dad handing her the freaking fire extinguisher. And that was it. I guess that's all the video. But I guess she walked across and put out her cleats. So I mean, I don't think it was that big of a deal.
The runner-up got the state title. It's considered poor sportsmanship. After she was disqualified, they named another girl the state champion. Her time had been 53 minutes 20 or 53 seconds 53:24. The other girl 53:52. So she had won by quite a bit, right?
Right.
She says,
do you think that's right?
No doubt as to who is the best runner in the state in this event. It's her. Her family was saying they thought maybe it was a race issue, but the California Interscholastic Federation of whatnot says no, it's a matter of good sportsmanship, and this is not the way you conduct yourself at a track meet. Do you think they should have taken away?
I think that there should have been repercussions for that because, like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's not very sportsmanlike. Like,
so should they have taken it away?
But I don't think they should have taken the title away. I think they should have had other repercussions. I don't know what that would be, but I feel like taking the title away is a little much.
I mean, she did win. You know what I mean?
She did win, but it's also like, I don't know. It feels like she's rubbing it in other people's faces.
Oh.
Well, you know, I always think, like, why not fine somebody? You know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be, now I'm taking your title away? How about just pay a fine? Like, you violated a rule, so just pay a fine, or your school has to pay a fine or something like that.
So I think even if they took away the ability to run in the next event, she still would have had her championship, but she wouldn't have been eligible for two.
Right.
Like, maybe do one or the other, but not both.
And Marley, you think it was a race thing?
Well, no, but that's what I would have said.
Because you saw that she was black.
Well, yeah. I would, like, if like they took away the title and the other girl was like white, I would be like, bye. Like, you're okay, racist.
So if the girl, but if the other girl that got,
like, it's not her fault that she's good. Like, get better. I don't know. Like, I would have done the same thing if I was that good at running. Sorry.
You would have got, but I mean, the fire extinguisher.
If I was that good at running, yeah, and I would rub it in their face, I would gritty on their graves because I'm sorry, bye. Like, get better.
Graves.
You literally get better.
I mean, what's the difference between Sha'Carri Richardson, right? With her long nails and you know what I mean? Like, as she's running, she's basically, you know, waving to the people behind her. Is that bad sportsmanship when I'm beating you? Like, and I'm like, waving? Is it bad sportsmanship as an NFL player is like, you know, almost dancing across the end zone because nobody can catch him? Is that not being humble? I mean, at what point?
In the NFL, it's performative, right? You've got a big audience. People are paying to come see you. Like, I don't know. It seems like more of a show they're putting on.
But that's also they're the example. I mean, that's what these people are trying to emulate, right? Like, I'm trying to be the best. They're the best. They can do it. Why can't I?
But I think when you are a high school athlete and a collegiate athlete, there are rules that are given to you, and your coaches talk to you and tell you what can happen if you act like a jerk, right? If you're engaging in unsportsmanlike conduct, here are the consequences. So it's not a surprise.
I feel like if I was the slow person in that race and someone like beat me and then started spraying their feet with like a fire extinguisher, I would probably be like, what are you doing?
But it's not like they did it to you. You know what I mean? It's not like they were like, you know, throwing ice cubes or making you like freeze in place. It wasn't directed at you. It's like, I'm hot. Like, you'll not, I don't know. I mean, I get like the personal,
my feet are so hot, I'm on fire.
Like, I feel like they are. This goes back to what we were talking about, Julia. I feel like there has to be a place, and it goes back to, I feel like gender. There has to be a place for women to be showboats a little bit. Because if it's men, in my opinion, they're allowed to. They are so much more allowed to showboat than women are. The minute that women are, it's like, oh my God, stop it. The minute they start doing that, it's like they're being rude. They're, you know, it's not ladylike. It's just not.
So do you think if a male athlete in the high school male division did it,
I don't think
there would be no repercussion?
I think there would be.
I don't know if there would be. I think there would be a question mark.
I think if a white athlete did it, there would be a repercussion.
I don't know. Maybe, but I feel like there still would be a question mark on it. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being too sensitive about the gender thing. You guys can be exactly right. I just feel there's been a lot of pushback on women kind of stepping into this role, whether it's the WNBA or, you know, like Simone Biles and all these women just being leaders and being good in their own right and being times better than men, and God forbid they say it out loud. And it's just, I don't know.
Well, I will give you this, that the whole fire extinguisher stunt was an emulation of an Olympic champion, Maurice Green, who did this in 2004, had his coach after a win spray off his shoes with a fire extinguisher on the track. So it had been done by somebody else. It didn't say whether he'd been reprimanded for this or not.
I'm sure he didn't lose his medal then. I mean, that probably would have been the next sentence if he did, right?
Yeah,
he would have guy lost medal for unsportsmanlike conduct, but he didn't.
Didn't happen.
I think that's different though, because that's the Olympics and this is high school track.
Well, the Olympics would be even more of a place where you would think sportsmanship would be enforced.
I feel like that's more of a show. Like you're talking about how the NFL is like a show.
But it's what you're aspiring to. Like if they don't have to follow the rules at the top, why should anyone follow the rules at the bottom, right? Like they are the leaders, just like you were the leader. Like you follow the people at the top of their game. If the people at the top of their game can pull out a fire extinguisher and cool off their feet, why can't I act like that? That's what you're supposed to do, right? I want to be just like the best. I want to be like Steph Curry. I want to be like, Joe Montana, whomever, like Tom Brady. I want to be just like them. And if they do it, why can't I do it?
I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We have another story for you guys before you try to bug out of here.
Exactly. One more story. One more story.
Go to the gym in 4 minutes.
Okay, fine. Okay, then we'll do the fun. Just get the reaction to the video then.
What are we doing?
Pay attention to the story.
There's a story.
It's just a funny story. We'll just do a really, really quick one.
I already saw this.
It's okay. My mom showed me the other one and yapped about it already a while ago.
The high school track story.
Yeah.
No, not that one. This one. Now, Marley had one very strong opinion about this story. I want to know, what would you do, Julia, if you were on an airplane and you saw this girl doing this?
I would leave.
You're on an airplane, sweetie.
I would join in. I would find a way to get off of that airplane.
Would you sing to your mom would start singing?
Yeah, my mom would start singing. And I would start throwing things.
I would start harmonizing.
It depends on how long it went on for. It's cute if it's happening for like a minute.
It only went on for 2 minutes. This is my question. How do you let a child grab the phone?
Yeah, how did that happen?
So apparently they were stuck on a tarmac forever and a day.
So she's trying to entertain the crowd. This is great.
Did anybody? Okay, this is what I say. When did anybody ask her to? Right? Like
that's a good question. Who asked?
Okay, so Marley says that the flight attendant asked her to sing that song.
Well, like the mom was like, she knows how to sing. Can she sing? And the flight attendants were like, yeah.
She has a good voice.
Sing, and then she sang.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Wasn't good.
I think she was like 11 or 12.
she's like old. She's not like a cute little girl. She's like a medium.
Grown, like you know better.
She's not like tiny.
She's like a 6th grader.
She's like, that's not cute. 6th graders are evil.
Oh, stop, Julia. She said 6th graders are evil. Who was it?
Brother,
look at the comments.
Oh no, they were. She was getting
the airline. Unfortunately, a receive a voucher.
I'd be on it.
She was getting dragged.
Absolutely zero hate to this girl, but major side eye to her parents.
Exactly.
Even if we're a professional singer, I do not want to be subjected to a concert without consent.
I mean, I feel like what the worst part of the whole story was the fact that she was dragged on social media.
Who?
Yeah.
The girl.
Yeah.
Because now you've opened up your daughter. If anybody knows anything about social media, especially on airplanes, the minute people bring out their phones, your kid's screwed. Like, they could be doing the best thing in the world.
Walmart yodeling kid. She's going to be known as the Moana singing kid.
I think that was cute. And I would have clapped and sung along.
Yeah, of course you would. Because you're a mom.
No, that's because she's your mom. Me? No. Yeah. Marley and I would have been
I would have, you know what?
Hold the plug.
If that girl started singing, I would have gotten up.
We would have been
I would have gotten up. I would have
sit with us.
Notice how everyone's sounding. That's like the people
on every single plane that we've ever been on. We went to Megan Maroney, and me and my best friend Gracie were sitting, and she is singing, she's why? Yes, she was so loud on that plane, and like I'm looking around like, does anybody know this lady? Like, get her out of my freaking row. Like no. So she would have probably been exactly
No,
like that. Grab the microphone.
She was upset. Her and Gracie were upset. I was sitting in the 3 row. And like Kim, if we took Julia and Marley on a plane and you and I were sitting across the aisle from each other because the girls wanted to sit with each other, right? So we're having a conversation across the aisle. The girls thought we were yelling the conversation.
No,
to each
not
other.
Julie.
were.
Not Julie. Shout out Julie.
That's because Julie was
She
on the
was-
other
she
side of
was
the
yelling.
aisle and I was sitting next to the girl. So they thought I was yelling. And I am a loud person. Look at my face. I could give 2 rats butts. Like I could care less. I could not care
Delta
less.
girl felt. She
No,
was like,
nobody else
like
cared.
imagine being another person on that flight, Nikki, and having to hear you
Look at my
yell.
face, Julia. The amount of caring that I have about that non-existent. I was
You're
having
like
a great
Moana
conversation with
girl.
Julia.
So if that was
No,
me,
I'm not like
Julia would
You
be
want to know what
hitting
you
my
won't
arm
find,
until I
Julia,
quieted
online?
down.
Oh yeah, no, I'd
It's-
be pissed.
Mhm.
I
You
would
will
be
not
really
find videos
mad.
of me talking loud.
You
on
can
the
find the video that I have of her talking loud on the plane.
And it's not that loud. It's not that loud. I'm just saying, I would not be the Moana girl, but a teenage daughter listening to
You
her
know
mom
who would
talk.
be the Moana girl? Wait, I'm
Let,
not gonna say it.
let me ask you a question. What would be
Hmm.
the difference then if someone was a superstar, like a celebrity? Say Taylor Swift stood up.
You know what?
Oh,
And
come
you know
on.
what,
And
Mom?
she sang
Let me
us a song.
no.
Would
Let me.
people, what is the difference between who sings
I would
it? They're
also
just
be
trying to
mad.
There's a
entertain
huge
us.
difference
would
between
also be
Taylor
mad
Swift.
about that.
12-year-old
You wouldn't
little
be mad
girl.
if
I
Taylor
would be
Swift
mad
sang. You'd
about
be
that.
like, oh my god.
But why is Taylor Swift on my plane? Because I know she has her own private jet. So like,
Good question.
why is she on my flight?
It'd be a shocking thing, never. There's a difference. Like if Yo-Yo Ma's bringing out the instrument,
I
like
would not
there's a
be
difference
mad
between
at
whatever.
I would
A
not be mad if
professional.
Yo-Yo Ma brought his cello out. I
Right.
would be really happy.
But I'm just saying there's a difference between a professional and a child that should have had the phone yanked out of their hand like 2 verses ago. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference.
It
Like,
reminds me of when we're on band trips, like when we went to Disneyland this year, and there's this one girl in my band who has really, 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 really annoying voice and laugh, and it's loud. And it's a long bus ride, and especially because we have to like make stops, so we're just kind of around those people and on that bus for like 8 to like 10 hours. It's horrible. And so she and on ways to band competitions too, like it's 8:00 in the morning. Can you just be quiet? Like I had to get to the high school at 5:00. I had to wake up at 4:30 and get to the high school. You think I want to hear you laughing at full volume right now? No, I want to sleep. Oh my gosh. And it happened on the Disneyland bus too. It was so horrible. That's what this reminds me of.
well, yeah, but see, you're also
people are
surrounded by like
tired.
musical singing people. You know, that's always a risk, Julia, when you're with all those type of people. Yeah, they're gonna
performers.
sing.
They always want to
Exactly.
perform.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
but
wanna
maybe they
perform.
should get good at their instruments first.
See, there's that humbleness.
Yeah, right? Now you see what he's talking about.
No, Julia, do not be a shrinking violet. That's fine. I'm fine with it. You know
Do
what?
not wash yourself.
Do not quiet yourself on airplanes and do not quiet yourself during
Oh,
practice.
I
Told
quiet
the Delta
myself
girl
on
to
airplanes.
Quiet down.
No, I'm just talking about having a conversation. Don't grab the phone.
Before we go, there's
Mm.
Nikki had a question for you guys
Every
about
trail I take, every trail.
how much do you guys use AI? Do you
Oh,
see
yes.
it? Other kids are
Zero.
using
Liar.
this in the classroom. What are your thoughts on
I don't
AI?
think anything. In fact, you can ask Donovan. Let me call up Donovan right now, and he'll tell you how much I hate AI, and that if you
So-
use AI, you're a bum, and you need to get to freaking.
How much do kids in your class use AI?
1,000%. I watched a kid get harassed by my English teacher because his whole freaking essay was AI, and I sat and I eavesdropped the whole conversation, and it was really good.
How about you, Julia?
I think that AI, it depends. Like if you're using it to like cheat in school,
Which is
which it's mainly used for, I think
Right.
that's stupid. I mean, I feel like honestly, I'm gonna be real. It depends on the assignment. If it's like, because here's the thing, I was against AI until I came upon my unnamed English teacher, 10th grade honors English class this year, and it was weighted this year, so she had to like, she decided to just add in a bunch of extra busy work. I didn't use AI for that class. However, I feel like if I did, my life would have been so much better because she just assigned like the most random
right.
stuff. Like it wasn't even helpful. Like it was not useful, it was not helpful, it was just stupid, and it was just like writing stuff. So I feel like I understand why some people might use it, but I think if people use it for every single assignment, that's stupid and you're just messing like
Yeah.
You're not
And I
going to
get
get anywhere in life.
I have a problem with the AI checkers too. I was reading an article where someone was saying, I wrote this entire essay, like I wrote it, put it through an AI checker, and they were like, no, it was written by AI.
I think that it's useful because I remember when I was it was like the last few weeks of school, and I was in math with my friend Maddie, and we had finished like our math classwork. We did it. And there was like an answer key for it. So we checked it with that, and then we started moving on to chem because our chem final was coming up, and we're doing the packet for it. And she would do like the chem, and then she'd use AI to check her answers to see if she got it right and see how she's supposed to do it so that she could study. I think it's like a useful tool for studying.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
in that way, I think like studying using AI is really helpful, especially because there's some things like your teacher just like can't do. Like she's not going to put out an answer key.
Right. Or like
people are just going to
putting
copy
notes
it
down and things like that. I think
Yeah.
that's
I think if you're using it for good, it's fine.
Yeah. It's I think that, but teachers have to anticipate kids using it. I think if teachers assume or try to assume that kids are not using it, they're fooling themselves, right? I mean,
I don't use AI.
you've never used it
No.
for anything.
A tree thanks me.
A tree thanks you. What does that?
No, it's destroying our planet, guys.
It is
Lock
destroying.
in.
There you go. That is very true.
Lock
All right.
in, hashtag Greta, whatever her name is.
Greta Thunberg. One more quick thing. Are you scared of where AI is going? And as far as, picture manipulations.
Nikki, you have TikTok, right?
Yes. I don't use it very much, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm just scared. I don't know if you know about the TikTok AI brain rot. That scares me. That was a scary moment.
You've probably heard about it. I have not heard about it. What is it?
I don't know. Tell me what that is.
No, Mom. I can't describe it. There's no way it can be described.
About like, is it just scrolling and your brain is going to rot?
No.
I don't know.
I don't have my phone on me,
Is
Marley.
it a
You're gonna have
video? Tell me what it is.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so
wait, I got this.
Well, I mean, nobody can see your phone on.
Look up Italian brain rot. Yeah.
Is it a penguin? Some type of bird. Okay.
Like, that's like this is like what it is. Like,
oh, so it's like AI pictures.
So what is the
like
thing?
that's like brain rot. This is like
it's
AI.
So it's just AI images made.
It's just rotting your brain, basically.
Atrophies or something.
It's basically just saying that AI is turning our brains into mush.
Okay, but what about real images? Like, what if somebody took your face and put it on a pornographic picture? How
that literally just happened to a girl at my school. Like, literally just happened to this freshman at my school. She was like hella posting about it.
And how did she? What was she saying?
Basically, this guy like took a photo of her and like put it into AI and like made it like in that like she was like having sex with somebody, and then like sent it to her and was all like, yo, this is getting leaked everywhere. And she's like, what the hell? That's not even me. And then he was like, look, like, is this not you? Like, look at your face. And she's like, that's my face, but that's not me. Like, that's AI.
Right.
But like,
did she care?
Well, yeah, but like she was like mad, and then she's like posting everywhere. She's all like, oh, like I'm a jump, like the person that made this, and like blah blah blah. But like that happens like all the time.
All the time?
Well, like yeah, like okay, like
that's insane.
But like some are good and some are bad.
What do you mean good?
And then like some people like using their AI photos are like really good. Like it looks real. Like Donovan sent me this photo and he was like, guys, my toilet's flooding. And it was like this friggin' AI image. And like everyone believed it but me. And I was like, y'all are so slow. Like
no, but I mean,
like some
images
are like really good.
I mean, but I mean, I know AI jokes and those stupid videos are one thing, but I mean, how would you feel if your image was used in that way?
I would not appreciate that.
I mean, what would you want done?
I don't know.
Take it down immediately.
Well, yeah,
well, obviously.
Take it down and prosecute.
That's what I'm saying.
I think there's laws against that. I'm calling the police. I'm calling the school. I'm getting it taken down right now.
They are working on that. I mean, they are trying to work on laws for deepfake, but I would say even this
deepfakes have been around for like ever.
Well, no, but when it's used for this revenge porn, where they create a naked image of you and then try to blackmail you for it, like I'm going to make people think that that's you and humiliate you over it. I mean, they could use your image and put you in some really humiliating images, and then that goes around school. And even if people think that, even if people know it's AI, it's still your face. I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the danger of all this. And I just feel bad for like the generation that you guys have to grow up with this technology. It's only going to get
crazy. I mean,
better.
we were talking a couple days ago, yesterday, about how you have to be, you and I, Nikki, about how you have to teach our girls, if they're going to high school parties or college parties or whatever party, to not set their drink down, to keep their hand over their drink, to make sure no one puts something in their drink, to not accept a drink from someone you don't know, because you don't want to end up in a bad position, right? Well, now it turns out, and I know there's a difference between it really happening to you and it happening to you virtually, but still it's a form of taking control of someone's image and their likeness and virtually attacking them.
Exactly.
Not
exactly.
cool.
Not at all. Well, ladies, I guess I appreciate your guys' time, unless there's anything you want to add. I love you.
I love you.
Enjoy your summer.
Love you too.
Have fun in Germany.
Enjoy
Oh yeah, I'm leaving.
Yeah, have fun in Germany. We will be on a road trip together, sharing quarters, very close quarters.
That'll be fun.
Oh, I'm leaving my mom. I'm going miles, thousands and thousands of miles away from her.
I know. Have fun.
And apparently
awesome.
she's not scared at all. She's totally fine with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a big girl.
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah,
I'm
her
so excited.
Her ego will carry her through, Nikki.
I'm so excited and so ready to go. Don't I look ready and excited?
You are so excited. It's going to be great. And you're awesome. And that's why you get to go. So congratulations. Have fun, Julia.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm going to go to the gym now. Bye, Mom.
Okay,
bye. Say bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Oh, shout out my girl, Nora.
Okay. Our cousin. All right. Love you, Nora. All right. Thank you. Look at those girls.
Bye, Julia. Oh my God.
I swear to God.
Do you guys feel exhausted as we feel after that? It's like, Lord.
Pain in the butt. I'm
trying to remember when they used to just talk to us and be little chatterboxes.
Oh, they're such
okay. So we have to have the boys on next.
I know. I feel like the boys would be way more.
Oh, the boys will be awesome. The boys will be great.
Although I don't know, Dylan's getting to be that age.
Oh.
No offense, but no offense if he's not. But like he's 14 now.
Oh,
he's becoming too cool for school. You know what I mean? Like I think Jacob's still in the sweet
Jacob's
spot.
11. He's still like wants hugs and
Yeah. Oh, my son still wants hugs, but it's just it's not as. But I swear to God, I came home. And I was like remember how excited you guys were to do this? And now it's like, ugh, I don't look in.
No, I know. She's like, do I really have to? Because I wanted to go to the gym.
I know.
Like, and I was there was a time when she couldn't wait to get into KGO and get on that microphone.
I know.
Right?
Well, whatever.
Oh, well.
I know. Someday, when they see this, when they're older, they're going to be like, look at me. You're welcome, ladies. You're welcome. There you go. But I was very interested in what they were saying about the AI and everything and the chat GPT. It was very, I didn't know Marley felt so strongly against using it.
Yeah.
But I do think, I was listening to this one educator who was saying, it's not that we should assume we should always assume kids are going to use it. Similar to how we should always assume at the beginning of calculators. Kids are going to use the calculator. We just have to test their math skills in a different way, knowing they're going to use the calculator.
Well, I think on the syllabus and in the you have to go to parent night and the teachers give a talk. It's like the year before when you're deciding what classes to take.
Right.
And then when it's called honors night, so you go around and you go to all these different classes and what have you. And then to the kids and written, the class policy is drilled into parents, kids, and twice to kids with the syllabus that if we catch you using AI for your papers in this class, it's an instant, zero credit that you're going to get busted. It's cheating.
But see, that's the hard part is I feel like AI in and of itself, the technology is but I feel like the AI checkers are not good. You know what I mean? Like I feel you just keep hearing story after story of people, adults, not people that have used it to cheat, of being like, nope, I put my own work in and they're telling me it's AI. That is my handwritten, my own work. And they're trying to convince me that that's not my stuff. And that's what scares me is that you can have someone's educational livelihood in your hand because the technology for the checkers is terrible. So that's what I would rather, because kids are going to do it. The kids are going to do it. I would rather have a teacher say, okay, I don't want you guys to use AI. But if you do, you have to explain to me the way in which you used it. So you like kind of like your sources, right? Like where'd you get your material? Like how did you use it? And then you have to explain it to me in another way. Like you have to explain to me your process. And then if you did use AI, you have to stand there and still explain that you have retained whatever knowledge it happens to be. So if it's a paper about the Civil War and you used AI to help you, you got to tell me that paper even without it. You have to still know it, right? So I don't know. The kids are going to use it. It's stupid to think they're not going to.
It's interesting, though, to say, how did you use it? Because I think now you can just tell AI to write your paper. You have a paper on, as you mentioned, the Civil War or a certain battle or whatever. How did you use it? I don't know. It wrote the whole paper. What do you say?
Well, yeah, I think that then if you have to explain how you used it, then you have to use it in a more thoughtful way instead of just being like, write me a whole Department of Health and Human Services report. Like shoot it on out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you said you have to explain to me how you used AI,
right,
then you would have to be thoughtful in how you used AI. You can just be like, it wrote the whole thing. You'd have to be like, well, I asked it to do this. I asked it to do this. And then it would kind of explain it, right? So
Jacob had a paper that he had to write on a figure in the Civil War. I forget who his figure was. But Lafayette, his figure was Lafayette. And he had to cite his sources.
Okay.
And so he wrote the whole thing, and I flipped to the back because I'm proofreading it. And his sources are AI overview. Because, when you type in something on Google, you're looking for information, the AI overview comes up.
Oh, yes, that's true. Okay, yeah.
And I said, you cannot cite this as a source. This is not a reliable source.
Scroll a little bit.
You have to find this information in an actual publication. You can't cite AI overview as a source. And David said, why not? And I was like, I guess, because I'm old school.
Well, because they're fallible, because like AI is fallible. They make mistakes. It even says underneath it, double check, it makes mistakes.
But if you're allowed to use AI, then are you allowed to use AI overview and AI in every particular context and quote AI as one of your sources?
Well, just a side note, that whole AI thing might be going away because they're getting sued over it, right? Because it's taking away from the actual websites that give them the information that they're pulling it from.
Yeah.
But I would rather you scroll down and read the actual article that the AI is pulling it from. Like, get the whole context. So
which is what we did.
Exactly. Like, get the whole entire story.
I'm like, I know you already know the information. Now find it in a real place.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I mean by using AI and then having to explain further. It's like, okay, you used AI. It told you the answer. Now explain further and do it without, you know what I mean? Do it without using your paper. And if you're going to get help in writing it or sourcing it or whatever, okay. But now you got to stand up there and tell me what you learned. You have to, without any sort of help, because you got enough help. You got all kinds of help with the technology. And again, like we were talking about last time, technology can help. It shouldn't replace. That's, it should be doing the things without replacing people and jobs and knowledge and making us all just algorithms and stuff like that. It's ridiculous.
On the other hand, I look at it like this. There are people that grew up in my era. You're a little younger. You're a little younger than me, so I don't want to age you. But we had to memorize multiplication tables.
Same did. I had it on the back of my door. I stared at it every night.
There were calculators, but we weren't allowed to use them. We had to memorize that stuff.
That's true.
Is allowing AI to write your paper or using it to help you as a tool going to be the same now as kids who don't have to memorize multiplication tables because they're allowed to use calculators in class, or they're allowed to, not memorize stuff because it's just not the way we do that anymore? We don't have to memorize everything. There's something to be said for the old way, for knowing things, for putting stuff in the brain and keeping it there.
Well, I mean, I think kids still do have to memorize their multiplication tables in elementary school, whether they retain it because they keep pulling out the calculator. That's a totally different, it's just like phone numbers. If you don't use it, right, you forget it. What do I remember? I remember my home phone number. I can't remember my kid's cell phone number to save my life. right?
Yeah.
Like I can remember my boyfriend in high school's home phone number, but can't seem to ever remember my kid's cell phone number sometimes.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's because you used it so much, it's
Mhm.
just like stuck in there. Yeah, I think AI could become something like that. Because
Yeah.
what did they tell us? It's not like you're going to have a calculator or a computer in your pocket all the time. Little did they know we were going to have exactly that. So who
Mhm.
knows where
Yeah.
technology is going to go? You know, maybe we're going to press a button in our head sometimes and, you know, Google's going to be inserted. Who the hell knows? You know what I mean? Who the hell knows where any of this is going, Kim McAllister? We can get dystopian or it could be heaven. Who the hell knows? But all I know is I want my kid to be able to. Okay, so for instance, I listen to this radio show in the morning and they always do like this quiz where you win like $1,000, right?
Okay.
And I always love to play it just because, and they always ask you like a math question, like
Okay.
and it's a lot of it's Bay Area based. So they'll ask you like, what county is this city in? Or, you know,
I love the trivia. I'm all for trivia.
Yeah, I love
Bring
the
it.
trivia, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of it is, what's the largest planet? Or, those sorts of things where if
Yeah.
you didn't really pay attention in school, sometimes you really, really realize spell words. They always have like a spelling one and things like
Mhm.
that. I just feel at some point people are going to want to be educated. Like you have
Yep.
to retain some of this information. And
Mhm.
otherwise, you're going to be like, what do I actually know and remember? Because it gets kind of depressing if
Mhm.
AI is answering all your questions for you. You know, if you have
Yeah.
to Google every single thing, if you don't know how to spell anything anymore because, Grammarly does it for you, or there has to be a kind of this come to Jesus moment of, are you knowledgeable or have
Mhm.
you kind of exported or downloaded your brain into a computer? And if that computer gets destroyed, do you know how to even wipe your ass? Like, what the
Mhm.
hell? Right.
I think
So,
it's the same thing with spelling, as you mentioned just a
yeah.
moment ago, where we used to have to remember words and if you ask someone, a teacher, a parent, they would say, "Well, look it up because then you'll
Mhm.
remember it." Right?
Exactly. Spell
And
it.
so you would look at it and then you would say it and then you would spell it out loud a couple of times so that you would then retain that information.
Mm-hmm.
But now if I look at a word and it looks wrong, I look it up, in another tab to see, am I spelling that
Spelling that
correctly?
right. Yeah.
I don't retain that. It's in, it's out, it's gone. There's a
Yeah.
whole different learning style to this thing. So I think that's how kids are going to be. I don't think they're going to retain a lot.
Well, I also think it's because we don't write pen to paper, pencil to paper anymore.
Mhm.
That helps us retain things. I don't think
Mhm.
typing, texting, that doesn't do the same thing as writing something down. If I want to remember something, I write it.
Mhm.
I like to take notes by hand. I like to just still do those things. But again, that's an older generation thing. These
Mhm.
kids who, and I'm not trying to knock them because they're smart. This next generation,
Yeah.
yeah, miles away technology wise.
Mhm.
But some of the basics that I think that we have, they just don't have anymore. And I don't think that they necessarily care as much,
Yeah.
right? Like it just is what it is. I'm sure people, the beginning of time really, really cared how the wheel was made and how fire was made or how the lights worked, but now
Yeah.
we just flip the switch and we can give two
We
rats
don't
butts
think
and how
about
it
it.
works,
Yeah.
right? It just does,
Yeah.
and that's how everything progresses. And we
When
can't really fault them for that.
when my dad taught me how to drive,
Mm.
he said, "You're not going to get in the car and drive unless you know how to change your own tire
Mm-hmm.
and check your own oil, and if you understand the mechanism and the way the car works."
Well, good luck now.
So he sat me down, and I swear I didn't understand it then, and I don't understand it now. This is not my brain. This is not my strong
Right.
suit. He tried to explain to me levers and fulcrums and motion and the way that the car functioned,
The
like just the
pistons
general
and the
idea of
explosion.
how it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Whatever.
sure. I had
Okay.
to remember enough to where he quizzed me on it that I could act like I knew what he was talking about. But
Right.
but I
Yeah.
understand now what he was doing, right?
Yes.
I understand that he wanted me to understand the way the world worked, and I get
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting if
Mhm.
and my husband's done a lot over our years of being together from dating to being married of, teaching me about electronics and
Mhm.
how things worked. And so much so that, I even amaze myself sometimes about how things work, because I did not grow up in that type of household. My dad, he has a screwdriver and a hammer. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the extent of fixing things in the Maduro household.
Totally. I'm the same way with
his.
I'm the same way with tech stuff, just from David talking about it. He knows he has maybe 5 minutes until my eyes start to glaze over. But in that 5 minutes, I managed to pick up a bunch of stuff. So he'll be talking and I'll say, oh, yeah, that stands for this, or oh, that's the this, or whatever. And he'll look at me and he'll go, you could do my job better than my coworkers. I'm
like I've learned.
No, I just know because you said that. I don't know anything about it. But
it's still true. It's still true. You definitely do pick it up.
Yeah.
Here's another, but like speaking of AI, I actually heard this story this morning and I was like, if this is where AI is going, and if this is where our children, I mean, they're not that far from doing this, right? I mean, being in this kind of world, just over a quarter, 26% of singles are using AI to enhance their dating lives. Okay.
Let me off this bus. I want off this bus right now.
It's okay, but listen to this. This is what's scary. It's a 333% increase from just last year. Just like that's how much AI is being used more than ever. So this was Match.com and the Kinsey Institute surveyed 5,000 U.S. singles between the ages of 18 and 98. Okay, so pretty much everybody. And they said nearly half of Gen Z singles already use AI, whether to craft better profiles or messages or to screen for compatibility. 44% use it to filter matches. 40% use it to do their perfect dating profile. But another one that kind of freaked me out was a lot of them use it to actually figure out how to start a conversation. And that was the part that stuck with me. I was like, how do I talk to somebody at dinner? Like, what do I ask this person? Like, but think about it. So I'm going to meet this person. So I'm going to plug into AI. Like, just imagine your daughter's going to go out with a guy. So this guy, I'm going to put all of his information, his job, where he lives. Think about it. This is what they could do. I'm going to put everything in there. This is his dating profile into AI. What do you think would be the top 5 questions I should ask him that's going to make him like me? And AI would actually come up with questions for you. That's weird to me.
It's really weird.
There's no like spark. There's no like, you know what I mean? Like,
I just think it's a false representation of yourself, really.
But it's also like you lose that kismet, that, oh my God, I never thought we would have had that in common. Because I remember, again, I remember the first time I ever saw my husband when we were teenagers. I was like, no. And he was like totally trying to hit on me. And I was like, no, because I was interested in somebody else. But I mean, we were kids, of course, but it was just, and then you meet somebody else. And I totally remember the conversation we had where I was like, I kind of like this guy. And no way I was necessary. It's just, you found something you had some sort of similarity about and you delved into that conversation. Where is that going to be if you keep going to AI and being like, what are the best questions to ask somebody? Like, are you serious? That's scary. And that's sad.
It's sad that you need that. Yeah.
And that they feel like they need it or like that they're going to it and they don't feel confident in themselves.
I would hope that once you get past that date, once you get to like date 4, right?
Right.
You actually really have to talk to each other and you have to do it without any electronic backup, any AI help, any outside influence. And you really kind of figure out whether you have a connection or whether you don't.
Right. Yeah. Well, according to this, 44% do consider it a deal breaker to use AI to alter photos. 36% consider it a deal breaker to use AI to generate conversations. Some say AI should not be used at all because it's disingenuous, but others see it as a tool of the trade. One psychologist says AI is not replacing intimacy. It's giving singles an edge for a generation overwhelmed by options. Tools that bring clarity and efficiency are more than welcome. I mean, really, I don't think it's an abundance of options. And I'm going to be really cruel here. I think it's laziness. I think it's laziness and not want to put yourself out there. I think it all starts with not making kids, not, ask somebody out face to face, texting them instead. You know what I mean? It all starts all the way back then.
So I don't know if I agree with what I'm going to say, but the thought popped into my head. So what if we approach this whole AI and dating thing like you and I would approach preparing for an interview?
Okay.
When you're prepping for an interview, which is basically what you're doing for a potential mate or spouse or boyfriend or whatever, then for an interview, we would look up who the person is, look up what they're about, look up the work that they've done. We might even sketch out a few sample questions that we have. And then we would let the conversation take over, right? So we're not stuck to a script. If I ask you something and your response is either not what I expect or interests me, then I'll ask a follow-up question and we might wind on a whole different path than where I thought we would lead, because that's the way conversations work. But I would do that prep work. And is that what AI is doing for them? Just the prep work for an interview?
But I think there's a difference between going in for an interview where you're kind of putting your best foot forward and, in and of itself, you're kind of selling yourself to a job, and you can even fudge your resume. That's even okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus I am literally trying to be a part of the most intimate, special part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Like work is work. I might want to come into your house, right? Like, or your bed. There's a difference in my opinion. I want to know who the hell you are. I don't want a computer to decide. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, I guess it can help, especially for people. And I know that, and I'm not trying to make fun or even, minimize but a lot of anxiety and a lot of kids have that and grow up with that. Right. And so, and because it's more accepted and we talk about it a lot more, we're seeing it a lot more. So if it can kind of take the edge off of that and be like, I feel more confident because I have a couple questions in my pocket, which isn't much different than back in the day. I remember my dad, getting my brother ready for his first date. And he's like, so you ask her, what do you like? What do you, our dad's just the early version of AI. Like, what do I ask her, dad? You know what I mean? Like, I've never done this before. Or like, what do I do? But it's not like you're plugging in like AI or actually look at their information,
or the back pages of Cosmo, which tells you when you go out, ask about him, laugh at his jokes, get him talking about himself, whatever, which I think is rather fake anyway, because they should be as interested in you as you are about them. And that's a red flag. If a person is just talking about themselves the whole time, then
run, lady. I think again, going back to the difference with AI is you can plug in information about a person and they can gather like that. They could scour the internet for stuff about this person that no normal person would be able to do in everyday life, right? Like I would never be able to find everything about Kim McAllister like that.
Right.
And so they would be able to, and then tailor from that information the best type of question. I mean, that's something that people can't do, computers can do. And so that's the difference.
How weird if, say, you and I went out on a friend date. And we didn't know each other very well. And you asked me about my former places of employment. Like, so tell me about working at station, KWOD in Sacramento. Tell me about working at 100.5 The Zone in Sacramento. Like, how would you know that I worked there? How would you know? It's just weird. Like,
I'm going to ask ChatGPT right now. Give me dating questions if I want to go out with former KGO anchor Kim McAllister. Let's see what it just says. Let's see what it says. I don't even know if they're going to be able to find it. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Okay. Bring the questions.
All right. So, media and career curiosity. These are these questions. What's one behind the scenes moment from your time at KGO that still makes you laugh or cringe? Would that be a weird question to ask you? That's kind of cool. That's a good question. And this was instantly, by the way.
But it shows me, though, if I'm out on a date with someone that asks me this, that they've done research on me, and that's a little creepy.
Okay, so then here's another topic. This is personality and passions question.
Okay.
Okay. If you had a weekend with zero obligations and a full tank of gas, where are you going?
Okay, that's a random
That's a good
question that you would ask anyone, right?
But then here's one that's kind of tailored to you. When you're
Okay.
off the clock, what totally non-news thing lights you up?
Oh, that's interesting.
Ooh, that's
Uh-huh.
a good one. All right.
Yeah.
This is a deep but fun question tailored to you. Um, let's see. Ooh, this is a good question. What's one hill you'll die on or a belief or opinion you'll never give up? Although that might be a bit too heavy
That's
for a date.
but that's for anyone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this are oh, okay. If you could anchor a different kind of show, not news, what would it be? That's a fun
Okay,
question.
that's a good question. Yeah.
Let's see. And if you have you ever had a guest or caller try to flirt with you on air, and how did you handle it?
Oh, I had the naked picture guy. Remember him?
Exactly.
Wow. That was that was
See,
crazy.
these are
Yeah.
really good questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do you ever miss the rush of breaking news, or are you happy to be
Totally.
out of the storm?
No, I love breaking news. There's
Um,
an adrenaline that happens there that I miss very much.
what's something most people assume about you that's totally wrong?
I don't know. That's too hard.
That would be a hard one for me to like do too.
Mm,
It's like,
'cause I don't know what people assume about me.
exactly. Well, I mean, I guess you could kind of be like, I guess it would be a contradiction. Like you're like, I'm like one of the nicest people, but I'm like actually like a total whatever
That's
behind the
my
scenes.
answer.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Let's see. Do you think being in the public eye makes dating easier or harder?
Okay, see, these questions kind of make me like AI because
See?
if you really wanted to get to know me, these questions would be really right up my alley, right?
And look how quickly I got these questions.
Like that.
And so
That's
look, and this
crazy.
is the description. You should like AI for this. Going out with someone like former KGO anchor Kim McAllister, a smart, sharp, and media savvy person, calls for thoughtful, engaging questions that show genuine curiosity without feeling like an interview. Here's a mix of playful, thoughtful, and conversation deepening questions you might
Wow.
use. Look at
That's
that, my friend.
wild. You're scaring the hell out of me right now.
See?
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, that's
That's
really
nuts.
nuts. That's really nuts.
And so I could see how someone could just go on in there and be like, this
See,
person.
I don't even use that. Do you have Chat GPT on your computer?
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Oh yeah, I've Chat GPT on my computer. Well, I mean, you don't need it. It's not like it's free. You can just put Chat GPT in, and it's not
Oh,
like you pay for it.
I've honestly never used it.
There's also Gemini. I think Google's is Gemini,
Okay.
and then there's
Mhm.
Chat. It's all free. I mean, I think you can pay,
Mhm.
and I don't know what paying gets you. But yeah, there's all different types of AI. But yeah, there's Chat GPT. But yeah, so you could just put that in there and just be like, Kim McAllister. And all you need is
Wow.
one, like, so I knew that you were a former KGO host. So, but that was a really important piece of information I had about you. Now, I
Mhm.
don't know what would happen if it's like, I know nothing except your name and maybe where you're from, how accurate it
Yeah.
would be. But since I knew that about you, and it's not
Right.
just some random Kim McAllister, it's
Yeah.
this Kim McAllister,
Sure.
obviously it helped. So,
Well, I'm giving you a second date at this point. I think
see,
you've
look
done
at
really well
me.
for yourself.
I'd be in your house like that. See, you let the weirdo in, and all I did was use
I know.
ChatGPT.
That's
See,
true.
I
Online
mean,
creeper. Now you're in.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, ChatGPT is going to, or AI is just going to infiltrate so many parts of our lives. And again, like with school, it's better if we understand it and use it in a thoughtful. And I'm going to go back on my whole pedestal about this. Environmentally friendly way. Like I shouldn't, just right there. Like that was just like for the show, it was useful, I guess.
Yeah.
But every single time you use Chat GPT, the amount of resources that's used and the computers and the water and the electricity and the energy, it's insane. And
Yeah.
people use it willy-nilly because they don't think it's a big deal, and it uses so many resources. And so that's what Marley was saying. She's like, I don't use it. It's bad for the
Yeah.
environment. She knows.
She does.
So we definitely need to keep that in mind. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I
Well,
wonder
we
where
have
you I wonder
well, go
where you
ahead.
are right now in the world.
What do you mean?
Mm, as we're
Oh, right
as
now as the
as
show is going
as
on?
as the show is going on YouTube, you're somewhere. I wanna
I can
say
tell you exactly where I am.
I think you're in Colorado.
No. Well, if we are following the dates in which I think that I want to put this show on, so I believe that this is going to be the July 10th show, because I wanted to save it for that week. So July 10th, I can actually I actually can tell you where. So we're outside. Hold on, let me look at my map. Let me look at my calendar. So 4th of July. So there. So we're leaving 4th of July, then Pennsylvania. So we're going to be in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, North Carolina.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. My
Yeah,
apologies.
we're going to be more. Yeah, we're going to be.
The East Coast is murky to me.
Either on our way or we'll probably be in. Yeah, because it's Thursday. Well, no, because this is going to be Thursday. So we're leaving there. Yeah, I think leaving Pennsylvania, heading to. Although we might be making a stop in between Pennsylvania and Myrtle Beach. I think that we might be making a stop somewhere in between that, but I can't quite remember. But in between somewhere there. Yeah, that's where we're going to be.
When my husband trained for the Marines, he was nearby and they would go there to Myrtle Beach. And he said it's one of the most beautiful places he's been. So I think you'll really like it.
I've been to Myrtle Beach, but it's been years. I was in Myrtle Beach. My niece, my oldest niece, was like 3 and she's 20 something now. So
wow.
years. And we took a boat trip and I remember it being a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm just preparing myself for like bugs and humidity. You know what I mean? So I think the hair is going to be in a bun. I'm going to have bug spray and suntan lotion on the whole entire time. Hopefully come back with a nice deep tan. I know my son's going to be darker than hell. But yeah, so we should be around there somewhere. Cause right after we do Cincinnati and the 4th of July, then we're going to the Hershey Park in Pennsylvania.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
So we're doing that. And then we head east.
Okay.
To South Carolina before we head to Atlanta and then New Orleans.
That's going to be so amazing.
Insane. Insane. My ass is already numb thinking about it. But it'll be numb by the time that this is airing. So thank you all for following along. And again, just to remind you guys, keep it tuned to YouTube and all the socials, Instagram and Facebook specifically in addition to YouTube, because I'll be posting pictures and everything like that. And if things get crazy, because things are crazy, we'll obviously be trying to react to that, but also like reacting to just how the United States is. I've never seen this much of the United States from a car. I've flown over the United States many, many times, but I've never done it by car. And I just think it's going to be quite the unique thing. Now, you put a story in about COVID, which I wasn't even thinking about COVID. I was thinking about like measles and all these under-vaccinated places that I'm going to be like traveling to. But what is there like a new strain that I'm supposed to be watching out for in all these places? I don't know.
The name of it is horrifying. It's called razor blade throat.
Great.
COVID. Razor blade throat
Fabulous.
COVID. It's a subvariant. We're seeing it now apparently gaining ground in California. It's also nicknamed Nimbus, and it's rising around the world. Nimbus or razor blade throat, because it really hurts to swallow, I guess.
Fabulous.
It's a variant under monitoring by the World Health Organization as of late May. It's not a current threat, but it's spreading fast enough to raise red flags. They say as of late April, it was 10.7% of global COVID samples. Now it's up 2.5% from earlier. And it's not good. They say every time you get a new strain, it's always a little bit more transmissible than what came before it. That's my doctor, Peter Chin Hong, says that to SF Gate. He, of course, is a UCSF infectious disease specialist. He says, just like a pop song, it's more catchy when it rises to the top of the charts. And this particular one, Nimbus, is not just proportionally higher right now in California. The speed at which it's rising in the charts is also high, but not more severe. So,
and that's what I want. And that's what I always, because I was just thinking of my son who's going to Washington, D.C. and then coming back, and then being on a plane for all that time. And, he's not wearing a mask. So it's just, is he going to be bringing that home? And now we're going to be in a car in an incubation thing in a car with my son if he picks something up. You know what I mean? Like,
Julia's going with the orchestra to Germany and Amsterdam. There was a time where I would have said, you need to wear a mask on the plane. But I mean, we're in a different zone now. So I don't know. Yeah.
And again, I have no problem wearing a mask. If there's masks available and they're like, hey, wear a mask because it's high. Okay. But I'm just really hoping that we don't get sick. That's been my other, not worry, because if we get a cold, we get a cold. If somebody's under the weather, somebody's under the weather. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Because it's summer and we're gone for a long time and it's going to happen. But I hope that we can make it, flu, COVID, illness free. It'd be nice. It'd be really, really nice if we can make it.
You just, as Dr. Peter Chin Hong once told me, you travel smart. You play it smart, right?
Yeah.
You're taking the little packs of, it's funny, I have this here because I'm packing for Julia. You take this little pack of Go Clorox wipes, and when you're sitting down at a restaurant, you wipe down, you wash hands, you take precautions, you carry I have it all here. You carry the hand sanitizer with you after you go somewhere suspect. Squish, squish, right?
Yep, exactly. I mean, and again, we're going to be in the car a lot. We're not going to restaurants a lot. We're going to be doing the free hotel breakfast. Every place that we have, it has the free hotel breakfast. We got to save money. You know what I mean? Like every way we can. Free hotel breakfast, grab an extra fruit on our way out. Lunches we're eating out of our car. And then dinners is the thing that we're eating out, because I wanted to save the money for when we're at the places that we're visiting. You know what I mean? And saving all the money for that. So, and for New Orleans.
So interesting that you mentioned this. Now I have to ask you this question. I was going to put this story in about this hotel in California, and it has been completely redone. And I freaking, now I lost the story, but they're going to charge $500 a night to stay in this hotel.
Okay.
And I was looking at that and I was thinking Nikki would never pay that.
Never.
And I was wondering what's your hotel threshold? Like what's your price point for a hotel? How much
like did we budget? Did we budget? We had AAA. Well, we have AAA. So I first started there. So wherever we were going, we kind of we mapped out our path. This is how we did it. We mapped out our path and how much driving we wanted to do that day, factoring in the fact of commute hours. What we didn't want to do is I didn't want to drive overnight at all. We didn't, because I don't want to travel overnight, not see anything. And I didn't want anything to happen. You know what I mean? Like God forbid something happens. I wanted to be a place and I wanted to relax. James loves to drive. He's going to probably do most of the driving. So I just want to be able to get a place, relax and have a break. And so what we did was we mapped out how much we wanted to drive and where at least some city was where there might be something to see. Right. Not necessarily. I mean, some of these places are in the middle of freaking nowhere, which, by the way, is a more expensive place to stay because it's in the middle of nowhere. So we just found places. We found the city that we were going to stay in, and then we looked at the rooms that we could get the cheapest that had free breakfast and decent enough ratings. Like I am not, me, I am not a hoity-toity person, but I also knew that we were going to be on the road all the time. I'm not going to. I could, I could bum it, if it's just one weekend. I'm going to be on the road for more than 3 weeks. Yeah. We're not going top of the line, but if we found a place that maybe in addition, if I had to pay $50 more and there's a pool for the kids to kind of go into,
right,
we'd splurge on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But some of them, I mean, it's amazing. The bigger cities, cheaper than bumfuck nowhere. You know what I mean? Just because it's they can gouge you. It's geez Louise, because they know it's between this, that, and that. That's all you got. You know what I mean? So it was but yeah, I mean, that was our biggest expense besides the minivan that we're taking and the minivan that we're taking and the food that we're going to be eating on the trip. Obviously the hotels are the most expensive. The flight home, I mean, I think all of our flight all together was $700.
Wow.
So, and that was because it was one way and I was able to get Southwest points for it, for one of our tickets.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And we don't have to pay for our bags because that's the, one travel card I have. So that saved us some money. But yeah, food, hotels, and the car. And so we're trying to save money by packing snacks for lunch. And we're packing our own booze so that when we get to the hotel, we can just have a cocktail when we get there. Because some of these towns also, they're dry. they're dry when you get there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was like, hell no, I got to drive through Utah. I know how they are.
Not in the Medora
Hell to
hotel
no.
room. It's not dry there.
No, it is
Mm-mm.
not. We are not going dry on this hotel. So,
That's
God,
funny.
I am not driving 8 hours and not having a beverage at the end of the day. So, that. So, yeah, but I'm excited. So that's how we did it. It had to be like, at least 3 stars. I would say we met, I'm not going, I don't want any bugs or anything. I'm not worried about any of that. So, but that was pretty much it. We try to stay on budget, but at the same time, after a certain point, you're just like not throwing the budget out, but you can only budget so much because after a certain point, it's like you just got to go. And
so what do you think about the idea that you may never be in some of these areas again? Would it make sense to pay a lot more, like a
no.
$500 or $600 for a hotel room so that you can really experience the place?
Well, in New Orleans, we did. In New Orleans, I was thinking about like we were debating on whether or not we wanted to stay like in Bourbon Street, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
because the kids are young, like they're not like partiers, but at the same time, there's so much stuff to watch in the restaurants and everything. And then we didn't have to. We could just park our car and walk around. So that's what we ended up doing. That's an expensive place to stay because we're also there for 3 days. And then in Myrtle Beach, we didn't splurge on it, but it's a longer place. We got a more decent hotel to stay at. And then the biggest splurge that we have that we're staying at is the Airbnb we're doing for the 4th of July. That's in Cincinnati. It's a pretty good deal because it's Cincinnati, Ohio. It's not, New York City or anything like that. But, we got a nice place, a patio, because there's going to be us and my sister-in-law's family with my nieces.
Okay. Yeah.
So that we splurged on. And so, I'm really excited about that. So we had our little splurges here and there, but the one night places, no. No. I can just, it's a pillow, it's a bed, it's a free breakfast, and it's a go,
There you go. That's it. You're going to have a great time. I'm so excited for you guys.
I know. I'm really excited to leave. By the time when we're recording, I'm less than a week out. And so by the time, again, like we said, by the time this airs, we're more than halfway through the trip. We're almost a week, almost home. So we'll be home in a week. So almost a week. Yeah. So I'll have so many stories to tell. So hopefully, if everything goes as planned, I'll have my journal that I'll be writing in like we talked about last time. I'm really going to try to do something. Have you ever heard of a junk journal or a trash journal? I think they're called.
No.
Have you ever heard of that? So it's basically, it takes or a scrapbook. It kind of takes the idea of a scrapbook and how nice and neat and everything is, and it kind of throws it on its head. So when you go to places, you kind of just find whatever it is. So let's just say I'm in Atlanta and I see, and my kid's eating an ice cream cone. I'll take the paper off the bottom of the ice cream cone, and that's what I'll save.
Okay.
And that's what I'll put in it. So it's kind of like taking these kind of things that you would often throw away.
That's cool.
And you kind of do that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do little souvenirs. Obviously, take pictures. Marley has a digital camera because apparently now the cell phones. No,
trust
we need digital
me.
cameras. We're going back to digital cameras.
I know.
She loves the digital camera, so she's taking pictures with that. So I'm going to develop those and actually print them and do a scrapbook with that. And then I would definitely want a journal, like you were reading your mom's journal. I just want to do something like that. So just to have something tangible to look back and read on, and so I'm excited for all that. It's going to be a good time.
Cool.
Yes, very, very excited.
Love it.
So keep it here. We will be, we're going to have shows. So let's see. So this one is going to be the June 10th. So we're going to have another show next week, and then we will be back live, right? Yeah. So that's what it's going to be. So we'll have another recorded show next week, and then we will be back live, and it's going to be jam-packed with stuff about the trip. And then, of course, reacting to whatever the hell's going on in the current events. Because obviously, I would love to be commenting on the current events, but I actually am excited to see the current events from behind the windshield. You know what I mean? I don't know.
From a different place in the country. Yeah.
Exactly. To kind of react to everything from a different type of perspective. James made an interesting comment. He was going to see when we rent the minivan, if they have a minivan without California plates.
Oh.
And I was like, interesting, because, obviously we can't swap out our car as we drive.
Is he afraid that you'll get some kind of backlash from being in California rolling through? Okay.
But on the other hand, I was like, well, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, we're from California. I'm not ashamed to be from California at all. But it could be, again, I don't know what to expect. So, I mean, you hear horror stories about people moving to like Idaho and everyone's like throwing stuff at their car. So who knows? I hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, he was like, if they have a minivan like that we want and it doesn't have California plates, we're going to take that one.
Wow.
That's what he wants to do. So we'll see.
He's really thinking ahead.
No, that's my husband. But yeah, so, and and I want to see, like even packing. I have a hat that says San Jose, California on it. That's the hat I wear when I go to amusement parks. I'm going to wear it and see if anybody says anything. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get comments, right?
But sometimes people wear things that say San Jose, California because they're a tourist and they went there and got it.
But I don't think anybody's going to wear a San Jose, California hat as a tourist thing.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. But maybe I'm not ashamed of where I'm from.
Maybe they'll think you're a tourist from, that's not from there. Who knows?
I'm just proud to wear it and
just proud to have been there.
Wherever the hell that I'm friggin' at. Well, whatever. I will see.
Now, if you pair it with the San Francisco 49ers shirt, then we got a problem.
I'll put a Kaepernick shirt on. Yeah. I'll put my Black Lives Matter shirt on.
You carry a no king sign. You have the full California package.
Be like F Trump, you know what I mean? I'll be like, there we go. I'm sure people will just absolutely love me. But, who knows? Maybe I'll find my people. You know what I mean? Maybe I will find all kinds of support.
I have a feeling our people are sprouting up across the country.
I hope so. And that's what I hope to see. That's also what I hope to see. All right. So we'll be back next week. You guys, thank you so much for being here. As always, we are 100% crowdfunded. Please donate to our Patreon. PayPal does not take a cut. Patreon does, but we'll take it either way. So if you can donate, please do. And we appreciate all the support we've been getting this summer, especially as I'm on the road. Super chat, super stickers are also live as well. And email us, the Nikki Maduro Show at gmail.com. We respond to our emails as well and our YouTube comments. So we go back and read those also. And we love you guys. A thumbs up. Tell your friends about the show, subscribe to the show. Make sure you do all of that because we love to have new fans of the Nikki Maduro Show. All right, you guys, we will see you next week. We love you. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Aloha.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.